Okay, people, welcome back to Talking Charts. We basically have changed our name back to Movement Trades. I think I'm going to stick with Movement Trades because that's how I identify. Okay, it's been a rough couple of weeks. Okay, the market has been doing really crazy stuff, and sometimes when we see the market acting the way it is acting, sometimes I don't do analysis and put it out there. Just because you don't want to be doing analysis and it turns out you were just completely out of topic. And we had this Trump tweet with China, and the market just dumped, and everybody was crying and all that. And before that, we had this gap up with the pound JPY and pound US and USD.JPY, and those are the pairs I usually trade. And when I saw all of this happenings in the market, I decided not to do any analysis on these pairs, okay, or any analysis and post it out there. I did trade, but I didn't put out any analysis for anyone to look at because they could be deceiving or misleading, and people could lose a lot of money. So yeah, when you realize the market is not acting right, okay, it's not just about making this analysis and putting out there or trading. If you realize the market conditions are unfair for you, then don't get into the market. You know what I mean? So that was all my ideology at that time, and I decided no, do not put all this analysis out there, and if possible, do not trade in certain pairs. Okay, but now we're back. The market is kind of stabilizing somehow for me, and I can have some little ideas of the direction the market wants to take. Okay, which is why I'm trying to do this analysis right now. That being said, we're gonna get straight into the charts and my regular pair to trade. The pound JPY. I'm gonna start off by saying that I am very bullish on the pound right now. I'm given everything that is happening with US dollars, okay? And this is just a fundamental aspect of it, even though the pound is in a dying phase right now. If you look at the 4 hour, we are in a constant downtrend, the 4 hour. We're seeing this in the 4 hour on the pound, right? We're seeing this in the 4 hour on the pound. That's kind of a downtrend. And even if I take this off and I go like a little bit steeper, you will still see that we came in contact with the supply zones here, and price actually shot back from it. Liquidity tapped already. We have the liquidity there that was tapped. Okay, and I'm gonna mark up these zones just so we have I'll bring up the reasons why I'm marking them up like that. Okay, we have the resistance zone there, supply zone there. We have another. Just looking at each other in 4 hours can tell you all of this information. Okay, and I have support here. Right, we got support here in the 4 hour. If you look at this on the way up to the left, you see support, 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 and I'll count it to support as well because the market came down here and maybe got some liquidity around this area and shot back up in the 4 hour. Okay, so here I'm looking at this on the pound right now. As I said, I'm very bullish on the pound and pound US dollars. Okay, due to the fact that a lot of people will be thinking US dollar is shit right now because of all the fundamentals and all that. Right, but still, we're going to trade our technical analysis on this. So looking at this, what do I see? I see support and I see resistances, okay, on this pair. The resistance is 35.27. Price comes in these areas and rejects the way down. Okay, and here support, then resistance. But if we go to the 30 minutes where I take my trades, given that we're still on a downtrend, we realize here the price actually did come over on Friday in this area. There's a sell off a little bit, right? On Friday, we had something like this where price came up from this resistance zone, almost hitting it and sold off again, right? But I think looking at this pound JPY, what I'm actually going to concentrate on in the coming session is something where we either come back down to retest the support at 133.50 to 133.60 ish. All right, if you look at this, we have a high volume note here, which always gives me a reason to go long. High volume note here. Okay, another high volume note here where price took off from, right? So I want to see price come down to these areas where I'm interested in taking longs. I will not be taking longs in this area because we are now sitting on the resistance area here. We have one resistance here, it's just labeled here already. And I do this in the 4 hour, and it turns out there's a high volume note, another one here. So if we have price come up here, it means we're going to have a sell-off. And the only way price can go above this area is if price can first of all drop down here, grab liquidity on the support, then go up. But if you're realizing price is coming down this way from here, just shooting up, then it's a high risk trade on that. Okay, you don't want to be doing that because price will basically just from my experience, when price just shoots up from a random zone without tapping demand and supply, the opposite usually happens. Okay, in my experience, from what I realized, sometimes you just see price just staying in one spot after 30 minutes, it just shoots up, and people enter for longs and they realize price was just grabbing liquidity and it's going back down. All right, so in my own ideas and analysis, I want price to do something like this, which I might ask you guys to wait for price to maybe come here. I want 33.50 ish. Okay, then you take it along and we target this resistance zone up here. Okay, that is what I see for the pound US dollars right now. That is what I'm going to trade. I am comfortable taking trades in this area right here. Okay, I'm comfortable taking trades in this area. That's where I see all those green candles, massive sell-off, and regain of this support, the resistance zone. So basically, price had difficulties going above this zone. All right, if you look at this, price sort of below the support, right? Came down, had difficulties going up, fell down again, then went above it and went up. This tells you there are buyers interested in price in this area, and the price is to price is to come back to these zones. You want to take longs, all right? So pound GBP on the 30 minutes for Monday session. This is what I'm looking at. I will not be buying in this area at all, unless we have like a little bit of a rally based rally, then good. But if price just wakes up from me after 40 minutes or an hour, 2 hours and goes up, it's gonna fall down. But if price basically sits here for a long time, let's say for like 4 hours or a whole day, then I'm looking at maybe it's gonna be another demand zone formed around this support resistance area. So we have something like this constantly for the whole day, then it does that, then yes, this becomes an area to buy. All right. But the price cannot shoot above this. If price doesn't, or if price does something like this, 1, 2, 3 goes here, definitely going to sell it because we're in a supply zone or resistance zone. Okay. So you want to wait for price to maybe mitigate, as I said, down here. Then you buy here and you take it up from there. Right. So that's what I have for the pound USD. Not much to see. We have our zones marked up already. If you want to go to the 4 hours, you see everything marked up there, and you can take your trades from there as well. Supply resistance above this resistance, expect this zone here because it is a resistance zone. See that we have resistance there, a lot of resistance in this area. So above this area here, you want to expect the next move, which is so above 34.52. You want to expect price to maybe reach 35.20 before you can take a sell. If you look at this here, these are sell areas. Another sell area is 35.80, which is right here. So above any of the zones, expect the next of the zones, all right? And as I said, I'm bullish on this pair right now. You could be bearish, it's up to you. None of my business, but that's what I'm seeing right now on this pair, okay? And this support zone has to hold. If not, we're coming all the way down, maybe to this area here at 32.95 or 32.60, give or take, which price really came down from, all right? Price really tested those areas. So that's what I'm seeing on pound JPY or pound USD right now. Even though we had like this 4 hour downtrend, but on the weekly, I'm pretty sure we're actually in an uptrend on the weekly, right? If you look at this, but still coming down to 128 is bad news for this pair. But I don't see this happening unless Trump makes another stupid statement or something like that, right? That's what I have for this pair. Buy zones and sell zones, mark them up, wait for them to hit, and you go along from there, right? The next pair we're going to take a look at is the US dollars, Japanese yen. The past 2 weeks, we had this gap up on this pair, and everybody was expecting that gap to close. I think I made a statement on TradingView, and I said this pair is not going to close until some certain levels are met. I think I did that under the pound JPY instead, not USD.JPY. And I made a statement. And I said this gap is not going to close till everybody gets shot out, right? All the shorts get killed, then we will have this closure happening. and that did happen exactly the way it was predicted. Right now, downtrend at 4 hour. All right, but still, we're coming down to this gap here. I'm going to clear this out. These are the old analysis I did. So the gap up starts all the way here. For those who want to see that, we had this gap up here. Is it a good place to buy? No, I don't think I'm going to buy anything in this area, even though we have some sort of a rotation. So this box here basically is a rotation. I call this rotation. The price rotated and the fundamentals took price up. All right. And what we've been seeing for the past couple of days is price came back to this basically I'll call it a support area or resistance non support, right? And bounce up from there. So this is a buy area to me for this pair. The gap closes all the way underneath here. The gap is all the way at 147.50, but still we have this area where support is now turned or resistance is now turned support if you're trading price action. Will all this gap get closed this couple of weeks? I'm not very sure. There's a gap right here that everybody's looking for it to close before they can go long. Maybe, maybe not. We want to watch and see how the market reacts coming week. Right now, for this pair, what am I seeing for the coming sessions? What I'm seeing here basically is price has touched a little bit on this support term resistance or resistance and support zone, liquidity grab, and it went up, but the upper levels are very weak. As long as we do not break this trend line on this pair like this, I put it like that, we need to actually see this price move above this trend line with something like this. Okay, then we go. If price cannot break this trend line, then we're going down further. Okay, if price can do this, then we're basically going down further. All right, so I will wait for price to give me direction before I take my trades. And right now we're sitting at this demand zone here, or support or resistance support zone, and the could be demand zone here. I'm not very sure, but tricky times. The USD could be weak as compared to the pound. So will this move up? Will this continue, as I said, that no one can tell? Do this and go up before sells off again. If not, then basically we're coming down to touch some of the liquidity areas, or we're coming back to retry or retest the zone or fill the gap. All right. So on the pound JPY, sorry, on the USD.JPY, all I can do is maybe not trade this pair till I see a better direction. And as I told you guys when I started, I do not trade these days without having clear directions or momentum to the upside. Okay, momentum is everything. Price action is good, but you want to see volume and momentum to the upside, then you can take this trade. So if you look at how the US dollar has been falling against the Japanese yen, we having drop, base drops, retries, retries, and drops. So maybe we're having this second retry. We have this drop, came back up, drop, tested, drop, went back up, which means basically we might sell from here as well. Another thing to note on this pair is that price closed above VWAP on this, okay? So price closing above VWAP on the 30 minutes or 1 hour, sometimes a bullish thing. VWAP is right here, and price closed above that. If price is to come back here, we might have a little bounce before it dumps again, okay? So you want to watch for that. And as I said, if we cannot go and break out this trend line to the downside, then this is going to go down further. That's what I have for the pound. Basically, for the US dollar, Japanese yen, you want to probably buy or wait for the gap to fill and you take your longs, because right here we have orders to buy here. Okay, and it also fuses this rotation here for a long time. But this pair acts as it does. It thinks it's gold or something, but yeah, you don't want to be trading something you don't understand at this time. Okay, so I won't be giving directions on this pair and what I'm seeing, but what I know is we got to clear out this trend line, maybe a fake out, maybe then we dump further, or we clear it out, rotation, and we go up. All right. That's it for US dollar, Japanese yen. I'm going to dive into the Great British Pound, Japanese yen. I'm going to clear out the charts. I haven't done any public analysis on this for a long time, but if you go back to my previous analysis, you're gonna realize that I actually called out some of the plays here, even though I didn't do a recap of them. Drop base, drop supply zone. Actually, price that came there, dropped, right? Up trend line broke on 4 hour. The upper trend line did break. Temporary resistance above expect supply. Resistance was here. We saw the resistance there, and it went above, and it came to a supply zone before it sell off. All right. Then I think last week we had this rise up, but yeah, I didn't do a recap of this, so I'm not going to claim any good news on that for now. But now looking at this, what do I see in the US on the pound JPY is basically the same thing I will see on the US dollar JPY, but sometimes the pound JPY could be stronger than US dollar JPY, given that right now we having this pound is stronger a little bit than the US dollars somehow. We also have this area where support, maybe resistance and became support. Is that going to hold? Maybe not. Or are we going to fill the gap all the way down here? Okay, two zones here, or maybe come all the way to 198, maybe possibly, I'm not sure, because 198 before has been support all the time, so it might come back and retest the support. And also this is really where this price took up from. All right, so we might want to wait for price to come over to these areas, then we go long, or we might just want to, see what the momentum says. We still have a downtrend printed here on this pair. So basically, there's been some kind of a shortage, or should I say, weakness on this pair in the past couple of days or last week. So basically, short the tops, short any. I would say to anyone, you want to trade this, you don't want to short any position. You want to wait for some kind of retracements, and you short. And right now, we're seeing this trend line on the 30 minutes. I think here, we can have some buys here. Okay, we can have some buys in this area. Why do I say that? Because price, if we look at all the white candles, they're pretty huge, big candles, all right? So we want price to hold above this. Okay, 201.19, 201.20, 201 or 200. Price to hold above this for a little bit of an upside. So we want something like this. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Something like this, the price to hold. Then we're talking about taking price up from here. Okay, to this resistance zone here, this trend line here. Is price gonna do this on Monday or Tuesday? I'm not very sure. As I said, watch your momentum, watch your levels, and watch your trades. But as long as we're trading at below this trend line, price is going down further. So we could have a retracement here, retest this support zone, then we go up, or we can just sell it from here, or we could do a little bit of a climb up, then we sell it from there too. Okay, so not much to see here, man. I think I'm gonna put this out straight. The pay I'll be actually trading this week will mostly be US dollar Japanese, or US dollar pound, or US pound USD actually. That is a trade where I see, that is a pair where I actually see a good move that I can actually capitalize on. Any of this right now could be a little bit hard to trade, all right, to be honest. Any of this could be a little hard to trade because a lot of people are thinking we're gonna fill this gap and the market doesn't act the way people think. The market does what it wants, right? And the big guys will not sleep till they squeeze out all the shorts, right? So we can just pull more from here. We can dump. Nobody knows. But as I said, look for areas to buy, look for areas to sell, mostly through volume and momentum, which is I use for that is the volume profile. Now we have a resistance zone here that price actually came and dumped from. So that's basically another place to sell from if price gets there to 340, to 345 ish. All right, and you can buy in the support area. We also have VWAP here. We have VWAP right here. Okay, so this price actually closed above VWAP, but in my experience back testing, I always realized that when price closes on a US dollar session where price falls and retraces, price usually comes back to where price usually come back to the lows of the US dollar of the New York session. Okay, so that being said, I have these two areas here for you guys. Resistance right here, you take your sales, you can buy here, and price comes down to 166 is where you can get a little pull up, maybe 10 pips or 20 pips up, bounce off the VWAP. All right, so basically that's said. Let's wait for this gap to fill, or maybe not. We'll see how price goes, but mark these two zones where you can get your buys and your sales. All right. All right, we're going to US dollar CAD right now. US dollar CAD, I have this area here, which I'm eyeing. But before that, I'm going to clear out all the previous analysis I did. If you look at this, I expected the price to come down. Price did come down, but not all the way to my buy zone, and we had this move up. And I also said if price is to go above this area, if you look at this, then we're gonna keep going up. So this actually happened, but as I said, I didn't do analysis for almost 2 weeks, which means if I did do a recap, my recaps are correct, right? So a little bit of dump from this area, it did dump, then price took off from there, but it didn't come all the way to my area where I was expecting price to actually did come get more orders. So I was seeing this area here as a buy zone, which is still valid. I'm going to keep it right now for the long term. And I said if price crosses above this supply zone here, then we're going up, which price actually did, and we had that move over there. All right, so we're gonna clear this out and do a fresh analysis and see what we have here. Okay, so if we come back here, that's on the 30 minutes. I'll bring it to the 4 hour. We are on an uptrend on the 4 hour with the US dollars CAD. Okay, we're in an uptrend and we have support and resistance zones. I'm going to mark them up and I'll also tell you exactly why those zones are marked up the way they are. I have the zone here 139.20, which I can see support and I think resistance and support. I have that. I'll make that green. This way you can buy shit up. And also right now, we have the supply zone over here. Drop supply zone. I want for the 180. Price hasn't come here yet. I don't think price has. But the past couple of months, I think the last time we were here was in April 2025, which is not bad, right? So that was like a few months ago, a couple months ago, actually. So we have the supply zone here. You can mark this up for yourselves. We have this area here we can look for buys. If you come up down to the, oh, we're going to show this once as well, okay? The trend is up. Quite frankly, trend is up. Okay. Picture perfect trend is up and support here. Another support area here. 1 second there. We have support here in an uptrend. And now we have this area that can act as support as well. And at 30 minutes, if you come to 30 minutes, you want to have a plan. For me, I have 2 zones for my buys. One is right here, the 139.86, which price is basically approaching right now. And I told you guys before that the US dollar is weak. So we can basically see this happen on Friday or next week. All right, we have this area, the price can retrace, or we can look for longs. As long as this resistance zone holds on this pair, then we're coming down to the support zone. Okay, as long as this holds as a resistance, then we're definitely coming down as coming down from here. Okay, I also have this rotation here, which is a good area to buy. We have a great rotation here. If you look at this, it wasn't a gap up. Price actually rotated for a couple of minutes, a couple of days, and we had the shoot up to the upside. So if price is to come back to this zone, I'm looking for buys, which then I will mark this as a buy zone for me. Okay, so buy zone here marked. US dollar card. This right here 139.50 is where I can buy this pair as well. So support, resistance, demand, and another demand here. Okay, so basically what we're looking for this pair, I will mark this up. I'll mark this up my arrows. Maybe we'll look something like this. Okay, then we'll take it from there. All right, that could happen. Another place where we can take buys will be from here, maybe to this area or to this one right here. Okay, so trading probabilities, you look what the market is giving you and you react to it. If you see this going up, you want to sell here. If you see this coming down, you want to buy here. If you see it coming down really heavily, then you want to buy all the way down here as well. All right, 139.50 and 139.98. If we go below this area, we're coming down here. Picture perfect. Now, if we cross above here, if you see price coming above this resistance zone, then basically we're going up forward as well. But I don't think we'll have a move like this from here. It is impossible unless something like this happens, right? But I don't see this happening because the US dollar is weak right now. Okay, it's a fundamental issue. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, we're seeing some weakness in the US dollar. If you look at this big candle here on Friday, price actually did really drop from this constitution area because the whole week we had this thing happening the whole week, and price actually dropped below it. So on the whole week we had. So if you take this here, this was on October 14th, Tuesday, October 14th, we had this move, or 13 October, and till 17 October, which is almost like a whole week's trading area. We only had price move around this box here. So this box gives me supply, okay, because we move below it, price move below it, and if you're looking at this supply demand on this pair right now. So price has come below this, we can retest it again. Price could basically do something like this, maybe come down here, retest this, then sell off down. Then from here, we can take a buy to this area again. So that's what I see for the US dollar, Canadian dollars. I'm gonna leave it here for you guys. If you have any other pairs you want me to trade, shoot me a hello and I will do that for you, or we want analysis on, I'll do that for you. But yeah, these are the picture perfect trades I'm seeing right now. And the most important of all of them is Great British Pound, US dollars, which I'm seeing good zones to buy and sell. So you may want to follow, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications. So when this happens, I call it out. You can take your trades from there. Okay. The markets are really tricky these days, right? I think right now I'll be ending my sessions, my technical knowledge sessions to be there for, I would say, market insights or traders insight, right? The markets are really tricky, and if you realize that us in trading community, if you go online on, let's say, what how's this thing called, Instagram or Facebook, and you realize what people mostly talk about trading, they treat trading like a joke, like it's a game. All right, guys, it is not a game. Okay, if you open your charts and you're trading, do not trade like you're playing a game. It's not a video game. This is a serious business. All right. You see all these funny memes on Instagram, funny memes on Facebook talking about trading, people losing money. That is a serious thing, right? So you want to trade this like a business. You want to treat this as a business. You can make it in this business only after you start trading it very seriously. Take it serious and you make it serious as well. I'm not against making funny memes about trading, but if you realize people must just posting things like, "Oh, go max leverage," and go max leverage, or no, no what, no something, no max leverage, no Lambo, no risk, no Lambo. All of those things are killing the trading community. All right, you want to focus on what helps you, not what makes you happy. All right, so if you see a trade, you take on a trade and it's going against you, get out. All right, get out of the trade. If you take a trade and you realize, oh, this is not my trade, and I posted this on TradingView. I said the biggest way you're gonna defeat trading is if you can fight against your bias. So let's say you have a bias and you say price is gonna go up. Like I said, from here, I'm expecting price to do this and go up, and I realize price is instead dumping. My mind still tells me, hold it, it's gonna go up, but no, right? Accept you're wrong and take the, how you call it, take the trend. The trade is giving you at that moment. All right. I had a trade on the US dollars, Japanese yen last week. I had the trade here last week, and what happened was this. I think around 150.80. I was in this area here. I'll bring it up for you guys to see. So you guys, I don't have the trades on, like, I have a screenshot of it on my logs. But what happened was, I think price was coming down somewhere on Friday. I'm not very sure exactly what point, but we had this resistance thing here, this liquidity thing happening here, right? And I was expecting price to go above this, but it wasn't. So price started doing this, and it came here, it went back up, and I was expecting price to maybe touch this resistance, but price was just sitting here doing nothing. And I realized it started going down and down. I was taking a loss on the straight, right? I was taking a big loss on the straight. And I said, okay, you know what? Retrace one more time. I'm going to get out. And when I get out, I'm going to enter short. So the price actually came retraced. Like, it's like it listened to me. All right. It's like the price actually listened to me say that. So what it did was it retraced a little bit up, and I recovered some money, and I closed the trade and I went short. Imagine that. I took the short from here. I recovered everything I lost on that short position, and I got out. It retraced back to this zone that it was in, still couldn't cross it. I could take another short year, but I was already okay that I recovered the money I lost, and I made more profits on that money. But if I held it and my ego was on that trade, I must have lost everything. right? Small loss becomes a big loss. And before you know it, your account is blown, and you're going, oh my God, I blew another account. So this was a good move I did. Accept the losses, save the accounts, guys. If you can save $100 on your account, save it. If you can save $10 in your account, keep that account active. You can make it in this business. If you let it go to zero, your ego is on it, then you start looking for money to get back into the market. You are just a gambler. Don't be a gambler. Don't. It's not a game. Treat this as a business, and you will make it. All right, guys. So that's my 2 cents today. Watch my levels. And I will see you guys in the next one. Is movement rates. Hit the like and subscribe. Notification bells up. Leave me a comment if I'm doing something wrong here. You can give me a comment on that. And we're gonna see how this goes in the next week. And I will do my best to do trading recaps in the coming sessions as well, and see how our trading plan worked or not. All right. Keep an eye out for my Telegram channel and also my Discord. They're coming up maybe the end of this month. I'll get those set up so you can actually get my call outs when I have them come up during the training sessions. Okay. That being said, guys, hit the like and subscribe as I said, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.